Hi everyone, Lisa here. Today is Sunday, so it's time for an SNL challenge, which Sandra and I have already completed, but I wanted to share with you. So for this week's challenge, it was to take our August Studio Calico Kit and add-on, like the main scrapbooking kit and add-on, and work on it all week long and try and get as many layouts as we possibly could out of this kit. So I think I did pretty well. I only have a couple full sheets left, and that is these two cardstocks, which they're this light blue and then this kind of beigey color, which I didn't feel really went very well with the kit, so these are just going to go into my cardstock stash. So that is it for the full 12 by 12. Everything else has been cut into. So the biggest full sheets that I have left is this one from Tim and Beck, and this is the back side. It's just this ledger piece, which is still very usable. And I have this piece, which is Aztec, and I didn't feel that this blue went with the other papers. And I have a little bit of this, like this is the back side, so I have quite a bit of this left. But this side's not too bad. And this side is definitely still usable. And then I still have some of these 3x4 cards that were from the cut and paste from Amy Tan. So those will get used in my project life. And then I have all these other little itty bitty scraps. I threw like the really tiny scraps out. I just didn't feel like there was any need to keep them. Like I might even throw this piece out. But I kept some of the branding strips just because sometimes it's nice to add them on. And of course this is the polka dot party, so I can't throw that out. And then that's it. So I used a lot of the paper. Let me show you the embellishments. And I've been keeping them in this, I don't know what you call it. It's one of these little trays from IKEA. And these are just like the glassine bags. I always put them in there just in case I use them. I do have another one of these 3x4s, but it's not a true 3x4 card. It's been cut down. I still have these little pieces here that I punched out, and that is from this as well. So, I mean, I only used 1, 2, 3, 4, I think, pieces from here. I just felt some of these colors didn't go very well. I used some of these stickers, not a lot, but some of them. I used quite a few of these stars and some of these cork alphas. And I used some of these, quite a bit more so than I thought I would. And I really like how it looked on my layout, so I'll show you that in a minute. And of course the stamp. I didn't even use this stamp because it's like a food stamp. A food stamp. It's like a food type stamp set, and all my layouts had nothing to do with food. There was one that I could have used, it just didn't feel like it went. And I used just this part on a title, but I would think I'm going to try using this on a card because I seen Jennifer Maguire use a stamp similar to this on a card, so I think I'm going to try that for a card. I used a lot more of these chipboard shapes and buttons than I thought I would. Oh, here's one here. Now, as for the frames, I used 5 of these Dear Lizzie frames, which is a lot more than I thought I would. And they give you 12, so I used 5, which I thought that was really good. So I've got all those ones left. And then, of course, I have the stitching template. And I have 3 of these chalkboard frames left. And of course the washi, and I used a lot of the brown ribbon, or the brown thread, and not so, I don't think I even used any of that. And my pins are in here, so I'll just put those back. And for these alphas, these wood grain ones, I think I used them on 2 layouts, so I still have quite a bit left. And there's a I think they have a couple sequins in here, if you can see that, but I used a lot of them, so there's not very much left of that. So I would say I did a really good job on killing the kit. There's a lot of stuff that can still be used, so I'll put that in my stash. Now I will show you the layout. So this was the first layout I did. So you can see that. Let me just put it down here so you can see the full thing. So I used this red and white chevron as the background. And what I did is I wanted to keep this text piece, so I cut it out of the background here, and I just added it as like a photo mat. And then I used that Life is Beautiful Studio Calico paper, and I cut it down to, I think, 11.5 by 11.5 or something like that, or 11 by 11. And then I just added a whole bunch of layers, and this is the only time I used that blue paper. I just wanted to, pardon me, add a little bit more blue because I had this up here. And you can see I used those letters for the title, and I used a frame, and I used those heart gold sequins, but they're really big, so and they're kind of a little distracting because they're so big, so I just added some of those chipboard stars over top, and I used one of these frames and I embroidered a heart in here. And yeah, oh, and this brown piece of paper here is actually the packaging from the chipboard frames. I just wanted to add a brown element, and I didn't want to cut into that brown piece of paper that I had because I knew I wanted to use it on another layout. So I just used the packaging for it, and I think it turned out pretty good. So I really like this layout. It's just very basic, nothing too particularly fancy with it, but it was just explaining about how Father's Day was for Wade and how it's changed over the years. So that was layout number 1. Then this was layout number 2. I'll just set it down so you can see the whole thing. So there's the whole layout. So I used the cut and paste paper. And then I have, this is actually not a mask. It's actually, and I've used it quite a few times. This is like some chipboard hearts that came in close to my heart. I think it was a kit or something like that. So all I did was just like lay it down and mist it with some tinsel Heidi Swap color shine, and that way you would kind of see like this gradient, or not really gradient, but these stars kind of going up into the corner. I'll just pull it closer so you can see that. I'm not sure, you can see shine but not overly, so that's okay. And then what I did is I actually liked this frame here, and this is one of those chalkboard frames, but it just didn't feel like it fit very well. I tried putting it over here, so what I did is I cut this off, and then I put the bottom part over here, and then I just added some, this is the mustard Heidi Swap color shine, which I can honestly say this is the first time I use it, and it matches this star paper really, really well. So I used that, and I also used that star frame to cut a whole bunch of these little stars out. And the other thing I could have done is there's actually a star embroidery thing, and I could have done that too, and I might go back and add a little bit more like stars around here that are embroidered, but for right now I'm happy with the way it looks. And so again, just use some paper used to the chipboard frames, and then I used the foam, or not the foam, the cork letters that say QB because my son was the quarterback. And then I used those same cork letters to put football star down here, and then I stamped "You Are Awesome" with a roller date stamp, and I put it up there, and then the date as well. So very just simple layout. I didn't want to jazz it up too much just because it is of my son, and you know, I kind of like to keep it a little bit plainer. I did get some Studio Calico gold stars, and I was going to put them on here, but they kind of clashed a little bit, so I might try and find something else to jazz up these little stars here. But anyway, it looks good enough for now, so that's the second layout. So then the third layout I did was this one. I've always wanted to kind of document my favorite coffee place because I've seen a couple people do it. So this is a picture of the local Tim Hortons, and this day Sandra and I were Skyping, and we both wanted coffee, so we kind of hung up with each other, went and got coffee, and then came back and Skyped again. So it was just a funny little story. So I used one of these vellum pockets that I believe are from Amy Tan, and it had the heart here, so I just took a slick writer because I didn't want it to smudge, and I just kind of like made like stitch marks around it. And then I took these alphas, which are a Kelly Perky alpha, and I put that in there. And then these are an old basic gray alpha that we got from Studio Calico quite a few kits back. So here's that brown polka dot paper that I wanted to save for a background, so here I used it. And then we got, this is that flea market paper from Maggie Holmes, and I cut a couple strips of it, and I stole this idea from, I saw it on a gallery, I can't remember where, and I liked how they used it, kind of like paint strips, so I thought that was really fun. And then I had this chevron piece kind of left over, so what I did is I kind of put one piece on top and one piece underneath, and then I just stitched these little arrow pieces, just kind of like make your eye go like this towards the picture. And there was this bottom piece, this is a branding strip from the paper, so I added that because it has like daily routine, because it's very much part of my daily routine. So I just did my journaling in here and just added some twine, and that's from My Mind's Eye. It's really old. And then I got these from Ronnie in a rack, and I don't have any of these, and I just thought the colors matched really well. So I just stamped, and I just got this in a rack a little while ago, and I showed it, and this is that coffee lover stamp. It has like a whole bunch of cute little things. So I took this small one here because it has coffee lover, and I just used the Cup of Joe Hero Arts ink, ironically. And I just stamped the coffee lover in these two, and then it says, oh, happy day, happy day. And then this one has happy, this little chipboard piece has happy, and then this one's orange, just to bring the orange back in again. And then I did some stitching down here with embroidery floss, and I was hoping that this would, like, this is one of those variegated embroidery things, and I was hoping that it would kind of like get back into this brighter red, but it didn't, and I didn't feel like ripping it out, so I just left it. And then I put this sticker that says perfect just the way you are, and then I took the rest of this little branding strip and I just put it at the bottom there with this little star. So, and then I added a button and a star over here. So I really like how this one turned out. So, and then the next one I did was this one, and I really love this one. This is a very special layout to me, and this is going to go into my early years album, kind of like all about me kind of thing. But I used the background paper, and this is from the My Mind's Eye Find Your Wings and Fly, and it just didn't really need much more than just a few layers of paper just to kind of add everything all in. So I used that kind of looks like newsprint paper on the background, and then I used some of this Dear Lizzie polka dot party because that's my favorite paper, so I wanted this to be like, you know, my favorite, so to speak. And then I took the back side of that polka dot party and I just framed this Polaroid frame with it, and then I put my picture in here. This is my only grad picture. I'm a middle child, and I'm not saying that my parents, you know, had more important things going on, but I think they kind of forgot about ordering grad pictures for me. So this is the only one I have, and I mean, like, these rounded corners were there. I, you know, trimmed it up a little bit better, but this is a scan of it. This is not the original, but this is the exact size that my grad picture is. So it's really sad, but you know, I guess I'll just have to tell my kids to cherish that picture as much as they can. I'm going to try and blow it up and see if it's too pixelated or whatever. But so I used those My Mind's Eye chalkboard letters, and I put the only, and then I used these. I got in a rack from our Happy Mail swap from the Will Crafter Supplies group, and they are the doll font in this really pretty aqua color, and it was from Becca, is it Becca Buckley or Becca Ward? I get the two mixed up. I'm sorry, Becca. Let me just see who had me. I think it was Becca Ward. Yes, it is Becca Ward. And they match perfectly to the Dear Lizzie polka dot party. You can see the color match is really pretty. And she got them from TJ Maxx for $1.59. So if you guys are getting the new polka dot party, which Tiffany Westbrook just posted the other day that she got some polka dot party, so good on her. But these match really, really well, and they're kind of like this fabric, if you can see that fabric font on top. And then I used the cabochon flower over here, and then I put it up here as well. And then I used some of these wood letters to spell out 1995, because that's when I graduated. And actually I took the branding strip here from the Find Your Wings and Fly, and I used that as part of the mini title, because I think that's kind of, you know, a graduation type, you know, saying, you know, find your wings and fly. Added some enamel dots and some sequins scattered all over, and then of course some gold lame, and then I used this gold washi tape down at the bottom here, and the doily just to kind of match the doily that's, you know, printed up in here. So I added the doily and then some more sequins, and that was pretty much it. So this one is this one was really fast to put together. It did not take that much time at all. So that was layout number 4. This is layout number 5, and this one's really fun. I don't have any journaling here, and I'm okay with that, but I'll just show you the full layout. So this is what it looks like. So I used the craft background paper, and I had this little scrap of that beautiful life paper, and I wanted to add some black accents and kind of break up this really pretty Timid back paper. And I wanted this camera, so I specifically cut it, you know, this side first, so that way, you know, I can make sure I had this. And this is, I think, from Shamel Lane's paper, like pattern paper challenge. So it's not exactly the same, but I like how she had like the busy paper on one side and, you know, this kind of more on the other side. So, and then I just took a branding strip and I just ran it all the way down, just to kind of bridge the whole thing so that you don't see a seam. And then I sprinkled some black, this is Mr. Huey's ink, and I'm not sure if you can see it, but I splattered a whole bunch of black all over. And then this is the rest of that flea market crepe paper by Maggie Holmes. I just like the gradient effect of it, so I used that. I used the back side of that 3x4 paper, and then I used some of that star paper, and then I used another frame, and then I put this little sticker here that says I love everything about you, and some buttons. And then this is again another one of those pockets, and I think I might just either embroider something on this and stick it in. And then it's got good stuff on here. And then there was no new of these stickers, but I put happy and then wrote in New Year and then 2010, because we were at Disney World, specifically the Magic Kingdom, when we were there for the New Year. So then I got some buttons here, and then I embroidered this and symbol, and I put tired and hot, because it was really hot that day, and my son went on our way home, like when you cross the river or the ferry or whatever, it was so hot that the pillars were nice and cool, so he was just leaning up against them because he was so hot. So anyway, and then just added some more of these little chipboard stars, and yeah, that one was pretty much done. So lots of journaling on that one. And then this one is the last one that I made, and it's, I think, only got a few things from the kit. Yeah. Okay, so what I did here, I was feeling a little nostalgic because it's my daughter's 17th birthday on the 3rd of September, and we're having her family birthday party this weekend. So this is my little baby girl when she was born. So it's not a great picture, but it is the only picture I have of her in the hospital. So I just, you know, wanted to scrapbook it. And these little frames or these little triangles here, they were actually, we got like a little 3x4 card in with our kits, and it was like explaining what the new collection was, and this is like the baby girl collection. I can't remember what the name of it is. And they had like the different pieces of pattern paper, and they were like in weird triangle shapes, so I cut them out and I wanted to use them like a banner, and I love how that turned out. That is just beautiful. And then I just sewing, like machine stitched across the top, and not very straight because that's how I sew. And then I just sprinkled some more sequins. So, and then I used this Beautiful Life paper, and the only other piece of paper that is from the kit is this, and then this paper here. This is the back side of the polka dot party paper, but it matches really well. This is the My Mind's Eye chalkboard collection, and this is the back side of one of the chalkboard pieces, and this is actually a frame from one of the chalkboard papers from My Mind's Eye as well. And I cut it out, and I just cut the picture to kind of be framed in the middle of it. And I had these both in my stash, so I used them up. And again, just kind of sprinkled the sequins around. And then this is a Fifth and Frolic little piece that I cut out from the pattern paper, and it was in my stash, my little scrap basket as well, so I wanted to use that. I think it just kind of finishes off the page. And then I just put a difficult start here because my daughter, she didn't have, it was really a difficult way that she came into this world, and it's not really like a super sad story, but I went into labor on Labor Day. Didn't have her till the next day, but I went into labor on Labor Day, but when my water broke, I wasn't having contractions, so we went to the hospital, and they were trying to induce labor, and nothing would happen. Went for ultrasounds, still nothing, and then at, I think it was midnight, they wanted to try and induce labor, and nothing, and then I started having contractions. I think it was at 12:30 or something like that, and they were worried that, you know, because my water had broke for so long and I wasn't starting to have contractions till you know, at that point, they were worried that they were going to have to do a C-section because they were figuring the baby would be in distress or stressed out or whatever. So it wasn't until, I don't know, I think they were prepping me around 4 o'clock, and then I told them, like, no, wait, I have to push. So sure enough, I pushed her out, and she was born, that was at 4 o'clock. I started to push. She was born at 4:22, so she was born a little bit fast. Wasn't a lot of pushing involved. I know I'm probably one of those really hated women right now, but anyway, after she was born, I didn't even get to hold her. They whisked her away right away because she had so much fluid in her lungs that she had troubles breathing. So she was in ICU for just one day, but it was still kind of scary when it's your first baby and, you know, you're not really sure what's going on. But regardless, she was a healthy, happy baby, and she is still a healthy, happy baby. So she's still my baby. I don't care what she says. But anyway, so that's this layout. So I got 6 pages out of that kit. So I didn't think that was too horribly bad. And some of these I might go back in and just kind of jazz them up a little bit. Some of them feel like they're a little bit embellishment light, so I might go back to my stash and add some more stuff in. But for right now, I could put them into my albums and feel happy with it. So yeah, so that is what the challenge is for this Sunday. So if you would like to join along, if you do not subscribe to a Studio Calico Kit, you can definitely pull out a paper pack that you have of your own or make your own kit and try and get as many layouts out of that kit as you possibly can. Or if you do have the Studio Calico Kit, pull it out and just for a week, just work on it for just a week and try and get as many layouts as you can out of the package. Don't go back into your stash until you get towards the end. You can always add more to it, you know, later, but try and just work within a kit and see what you can come up with. So that's your challenge for this week, and I can't wait to see what we come up with for next week. And don't forget to check out the Facebook group called Will Craft for Supplies. We have lots of fun over there, and we will talk to you next week. Thanks. Bye.